All right, raise your hand if you're somewhat out of touch like me and have never heard of Noah Kahan. He's a folk pop singer-songwriter who really saw his star rise during COVID lockdown. He's got a new Netflix documentary, Noah Kahan Out of Body, that chronicles his sold-out shows and the pressure he feels to create a sophomore album. Now, I could have sung all of that as an intro, but you haven't done anything to me, so why be cruel, right? As a career-defining chapter propels him into global stardom, musician Noah Kahan stands at a crossroads. In the wake of the breakout success of Stick Season, an album born from the quiet of rural Vermont and embraced around the world, Noah begins work on his follow-up album while facing the mounting stress of what comes next. If you're into Munchies, stick around to the end because I do have a new sweet treat to try out. Now really, I'd never heard of this dude, and based on how his last name is spelled, I thought it was pronounced Kahan. Nope, Khan, like Wrath of. Anyway, this is a documentary film rather than a series, so it benefits from zero breaks to make the time fly by. And like most documentaries that focus on people, we get a lot of interviews with Khan, as well as with his family, friends, and bandmates. But it's the raw access that we get with Noah that makes this work. It's a biographical sketch of who this guy is, not just the confident and witty performer who sells out arenas, but he's vulnerable and he lets us into his mind space to hear his fears, stresses, and challenges. Now, this was an easy watch because right from the start, Noah's humble. And it doesn't feel as though it's like that fake celebrity humility. He's this relatively young dude who grew up in Vermont with 3 other siblings who, by all standards, outshine him in academics and what most would consider traditional gigs. But he finds his grounding through his family, acknowledging all of their flaws and troubles. He does this so honestly, too, that most of his songs are almost diary entries about growing up in his house, to which his parents are not quite thrilled, especially as he sings about their divorce and any strife that existed in the home. And it's not done in this cruel way either. We can see the cathartic effect that it has on Noah, but also then in a massively larger way as it resonates with fans. The truth and transparency to talk about his life struggles in a song, I mean, that's not something that's wholly unique, and that's most of what country music is. I mean, at least if you've lost your beer, truck, dog, and or your wife. Seriously, though. I mean, the songs are not only emotionally relevant to so many, but the music itself, it's catchy and fun. All throughout the documentary, we get to see Noah's lighthearted and joking demeanor, how he tries to let life just roll off his back and take the moments as they come. But then the film pushes harder and sticks around long enough to see that positive outlook fade away as Noah faces his doubts and then inner struggles. Now, a lot of the time, personal stories of celebrities, they shy away from getting too far into the weeds of a person's life, especially as things get more touchy or difficult. It's not always the case, but usually. Thankfully, though, it doesn't do that, and it allows Noah to share some of his life's long turmoil. Now, I didn't expect this look into a rising star's life to become a beacon of hope for mental health and self-image, but that's what we end up getting, along with some spectacular music. There's a segment of this that Noah becomes raw and voices the pain and dysmorphia that he's felt for almost his entire life. And while this can make him sympathetic and endearing, it's way more powerful because here's some famous dude talking about things that a ton of people struggle with and then not passing judgment on them or himself, just acknowledging that it exists and it's something that he's working to overcome now that he has words to put to his feelings. I mean, if for no other reason, this portion that focuses on embracing mental health, it's the reason to watch. But thankfully, that's not the only reason. Now, for me, I went from not knowing anything about this dude to becoming a fan, just simply by seeing him in his element. Whether that's joking around with siblings, sharing some touching moments with his parents, looking towards the future with his fiancée, or taking his dog along with him to all his shows. In my previous life, I worked for about 2 decades in radio, and I got to meet a ton of singers and bands. It was always easy to tell those who had forgotten how they started and where they had come from, and those who had held on to their magic and wonder of their talent and then the joy that it brought people. Those were the ones who were awesome to hang out with. They were grounded. They kept their egos in check, and they were genuinely nice to everybody they met, regardless of the standing or what could have been attained from somebody. And Noah comes across as that type of guy. I mean, sure, he is in the early stages of his career, but seeing the backing and support in his life and then his willingness to expose such private insights, I hope that he holds on to this excitement and wonder, which will then keep him as one of the great performers both on and off the stage. Now, the filming is wonderful to experience, capturing a mix of lockdown interview shots to cameras following Noah as he walks down the halls to get on stage, or even strolling through the snow-covered countryside of his hometown. There's this quaintness to it without it feeling chintzy or amateur. Now, I would have loved to have gotten even more of his music throughout the film, but it is interlaced underneath the footage, so it allows to create an emotional connection to what we're watching. Noah Kahan, Out of Body, it's an entertaining and touching documentary that allows us into Noah's personal bubble to experience all his highs and lows as he navigates his growing fame and then the mounting pressures to deliver again. From self-effacing humor to tearful self-reflection, Noah demonstrates that fame isn't always what it's assumed to be, but it can also be used as a tool for good to encourage and inspire, all to the beat of a melodic guitar strum. There's no sex and nudity, there is some profanity, no violence. Now, as a reminder, I don't give couch ratings to documentaries, but I highly recommend checking out Noah Kahan, Out of Body on Netflix. I mean, if you're a fan already, it's probably already on your radar. But if you're like me and you've never heard of this guy, maybe this is going to make a new fan out of you. Okay, have you ever met a singer or a band? How was your experience? I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Okay, now as promised, I have them in a Ziploc bag, but it's a new munchie to try. It is Marshmallow Peeps. This time it is frosted strawberry flavored Pop-Tarts. Yeah. So if you know anything about me, my disdain for marshmallows, don't really like them other than circus peanuts. Well, and then pinwheel cookies, where it's the cookie with marshmallow and then covered in chocolate. That's not really... Anyway, beside the point. These are Peeps. Most of the time, Peeps are just kind of there. You know what I mean? They're kind of just stale tasting, just rough sugar over a marshmallow. I got my wife some this other, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I tried them on one of my reviews. It was a Dr. Pepper flavored. Very, very surprised. It worked. Like I enjoyed those. I'm not even a Dr. Pepper drinker, but whatever. I love frosted strawberry Pop-Tarts. These and frosted blueberry, they are the best. You eat them raw. You don't cook them. You certainly don't put them in the toaster. What in the world is wrong with people? They're Pop-Tarts. You just eat them. You open it up and pop them in your mouth. Anyway, we're going to give this a go. It smells like a Pop-Tart. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see this. If that's that better. There you go. You can see it's got little specks on it, so it looks like confetti on it, and it's definitely pink marshmallow. But you know what? The best way to try it is it has that manufactured strawberry taste where you know it's completely fake. I was going to say it's not really bad, but I'm getting this weird, unnatural sweetness to it that my mouth doesn't like. It's not disgusting. It's just, it took a turn. Like all of a sudden it became very, very sweet and almost tart too. So anyway, no, I don't know. Not very good. Not great. Certainly not terrible. I've eaten way worse things here. But if you do like strawberry Pop-Tarts, it does have a little bit of that flavor. Or you just like Peeps and you're looking for some kind of new one to try, give it a go. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know if you like them. Put them in the comments. I'd love to hear that. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.